there was absolutely not 800 people there. Like it seemed like it wasn't that well attended. And so I was just like, oh, we aren't late. And I was told by several people that would invite, like, were telling me, asking me if I was coming over, that Waltz was supposed to come get, like, speak at 2 p.m. And so I was like, well, there's not that many people here. I'm with my children. My daughter's kind of short. Like, let me just go work our way up to the front to go, be close. We stood there for like a good 30 minutes, I think, 30, 40 minutes, maybe even an hour, with nothing really happening until someone suddenly like taps me on my shoulder and is like, ma'am, can we see your arrival instructions and your RSVP? And I was like, what? He's like, I need to see your arrival instructions. Like, I was like, no, there's no arrival instructions here. Like, this is an open community event. And then he proceeds to like identify himself as like Secret Service, and like, this is a private event, and if I don't have like an RSVP and arrival instructions, then I have to be escorted out. And I was like, no, that's not the case at all. I was like, this is advertised on the Navajo Nation president's social media as an open community event. This is our chance as Dene citizens to hear from this campaign, see what they're promising us, because they're trying to win our vote. I was like, so I'm just going to participate as a Dene citizen. Thank you very much. I was like, you're not going to be telling me I can't be here. And I could tell they got frustrated. But I mean, they had nothing to say to that. Like, I was ready to pull up the social media posts. I was ready to like even call boo, like, be like, why are people harassing me? Like, why are these non-natives harassing me? But yeah, it just felt so ridiculous and so like idiotic that I didn't even bother to record it. I didn't even bother to like pay it no mind. Once they left, I kind of just like kept watching the speeches. And then I heard them behind me talking to someone else, being like, we need to see your arrival instructions. Are you registered or you have to leave? And I turn around and I don't recognize right away that it's Koi, because Koi has like a mask and whatnot. And like, I don't really know Koi's face. But like, I'm like, no, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this again? Like, I just went through this with you guys. Like, leave him alone. This is an open community event. Why are you harassing people, And so I kind of get into it with them, but they're like two people behind me. So I hear them talking to Koi, and I can't hear like everything that's exchanged. But I do hear when one of the officers is like, we're going to arrest you if you don't leave with us, or something like that. And I was like, excuse me for what? On what grounds? Like, what are you threatening people with arrest for? And that really pissed me off. Like, I'm a human rights advocate. I'm an indigenous rights advocate. I know how to defend my civil rights. And like I was just focused on like helping like our fellow Dene not be harassed by these people on a power trip, apparently. So anyway, like I hear him just be like, oh, no, like we just need to ask questions or something. Like we're just going to like talk to you back here, or some crap like that. And like, I'm just like, no, like come stand with me. Like, come up here. This is ridiculous. Like, no, like, because I want to hear more and I want to make sure like Koi's safe. And I'm like, I'm not going to like, let them take this person. But then that's when, they say something else to Koi, and then like I grab Koi's hand and they start like kind of pulling him. And then the people, the who I thought were Secret Service, but they end up being like freaking Waltz staffers, that are closest to me, are like, oh, take her too. And I'm like, you guys, like, be quiet. Who are you even? But then the officers start to say, like, if you don't let go, we're going to have to escort you out too. And I was just like, I was thinking in my head that they were just going to escort him back there and ask some questions. And I was like, Koi, I didn't say Koi. I was like, I'm sorry, I got to stay with my children. And so we let go. And then like at that time, like David Sosi comes up and starts doing like the welcoming speech and like, a prayer. And I just start hyper focusing on like that, because I know David Sosi is one of my elders. And I know he has powerful prayers, and I'm just trying to like, just wipe off all of like, like that energy. But I also feel like their eyes on me. And I noticed that those like, who I still thought were like Secret Service, and because they didn't identify themselves any other way, they're like all around me. And I'm just like trying to like center myself because I'm there as a citizen, I'm there as a mom, I'm there trying to like just hope for the best. I say a prayer for Koi. I say a prayer for like our people and for like what we're standing there for. And then some speeches happen, and then more time passes, and then I get tapped on the shoulder again. And this time I'm like surrounded by a mixture of staffers, Secret Service, Navajo Nation PD, and they try to make the same argument again. And I'm like, I'm just like, at this point, I'm fed up. But I'm like holding my ground, and they're like, do you have a arrival instructions? Like, you've been identified as a disruptor, and I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? And they're like, we have reason to believe you're disrupting. I was like, you can tell the future now? I was like, is that part of your job skills? Like, and I'm being sassy, right? But I'm also like just incredulous. Like what the hell are you guys doing? Like, why are you wasting time? Why are you guys causing all this disruption? You know? And they're like, you have to come with us. And I turned to the Navajo Nation police, and I'm like, these guys keep harassing me. Like, these individuals here, individual here, I don't know who they are. They have not identified themselves to me. And I was like, you're here to uphold Navajo Nation law and to protect Navajo Nation people. Why are you taking direction from these people? And then he's like, oh, they said you're a disruptor or something like that. So I was like, did they show you any evidence of this? Like, what are you even using against me right now? Because I'm just standing here listening to these speeches of these politicians. And then he the police officer kind of like stops, and he like asks to go speak to one of the campaigners or whatever, the staffers. And then they continue to tell me that I have to go with them. And I was like, I am not leaving with any of you. Like, I don't feel safe with any of you. You have consistently harassed me ever since I got here. I'm attending this with my children. I will not be separated from them. I will not be separated from the crowd and go anywhere with you. I was like, you have not given me any justification for why you keep harassing me in this way, and why I need to remove myself from this event. And so like they start to like make up all these excuses, like just like in real time. And I'm just debunking everything. And then they're just reaching. They're trying to convince me to just like leave with them, and to like that I'm a problem, like to just capitulate to like them saying that I'm a problem. Even to the point where one of the staffers, the same one that you said you saw, Koi, a young, like short woman with like a camouflage hat that said Waltz in like orange lettering, who was just like this like Weasley little agitator. Like, she was an agitator. It was like, oh, she has to go. Like, oh yeah, she is causing problems. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was literally just standing there the entire time. Like talking to my children too, like explaining them who was coming up, talking to people around me, like, and then she's like, and they have to go too. And she reaches to put her hands on my children. And I'm like, no. I was like, no, you don't touch my children. I don't know who the hell you are. And I was like, you need to leave me alone. And then she's like, well, unaccompanied minors can't be here. And I'm just like, they're just finding every reason to try to like get me and my children out of there. And I hold my ground. They end up not being able to do it. The police officers come, like after he talks to one of the main like guy that I thought was the Secret Service, but is actually just a staffer. The police officer comes back and is like, okay, we're really sorry. We are the ones that are causing the disruption right now. We won't remove you unless you become disruptive. And I'm like, what does that even mean? You guys have accused me of this at least 5 times. What does that even mean? And they're like, you can't be yelling. And it was ironic because at that time, like someone said something and like the crowd like yelled. And I was like, okay, so I can't be the only one that yells. Like, I'm the only one here that can't yell. And then they're like, no, like you can't be yelling and trying to interrupt the speeches. And I was like, all right, well, I never planned on doing that. So thank you. Like, I'm going to go back to participating. Right. Anyway, so they all leave. And then I like continue on participating, but I don't feel safe anymore. Like, and it gets me so mad because like, I'm an organizer. I know how to disrupt. Like, I know how to plan an action. Like, that was not what I was there for. I was there as a Janene woman. I was repeatedly harassed in front of my children. My children were also threatened with being ejected. And I'm just like, this is unbelievable that this is happening in my own homelands. I've been to the DNC, I've been to Washington, I wore Palestinian solidarity clothes in all of those places. I've taken in signs, I've taken in and worn my sash belt that says Free Palestine. I've displayed that in all of these very hostile environments. Never once was I treated the way that I was treated in my own homelands by staffers, you know? And so like when I'm keeping to my word, I'm not going to disrupt any speeches. I'm not there to disrupt speeches. I'm there with my children. I'm not going to be yelling, but I am going to show my solidarity for Palestine. And so when Walz finally comes up, you know, he speaks, I hear something like happening on the side of me, and I see like the police officers like sort of converge. And I notice like they're trying to take someone out. And I'm just like, this is insane. And I'm like, I don't even want to be here any longer. Like, I'm gonna like leave halfway like through this speech. Like, I'm trying to listen to what he's saying. Like he says, I forgot at what point he says something. Everyone lifted their signs up, so I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna do this and then leave. So like, I lift up my sash belt that says Free Palestine. You can't see that it says Free Palestine in the back. Like, that's how undisruptive my behavior was. Like, it only says Free Palestine in the front. And as I hold it up, like some guy out of nowhere comes from like to the side of me and to, like a little behind me, and just yanks my sash belt. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, whoa, who the hell are you? And like, it twists my wrist, but I'm still holding on to it. And this guy's like tugging on it, like trying to take it out of my hands. And I'm like, this is my sash belt, you know, like that's important to Janene woman. And like, I had that specially made for me, like to symbolize like so many different things. So I'm holding on to that thing. There's no way I'm letting that thing go. And he's tugging at it. And then one of the guys that was like part of like the group that kept harassing me from the time that I was there comes up, and he's like, all right, you have to leave. You're attacking our staffer. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So like, they don't say I disrupt, right? They say I'm attacking their staffer. Meanwhile, this guy's like still trying to take my cultural property out of my hands. And like some people were like trying to stop him, but then most of the people are like start jeering and like, boo, get her out of here. And I'm just trying to hold on to my sash belt. And so like the staffers that were trying to remove me from the beginning surround me. They start pushing me from behind. This guy's pulling me from the front. And I'm like, you need to let this go. Who the hell are you? Like, identify yourself, because I don't know who this person is. He could be a Trumper. He could be a white supremacist. I don't fucking know. And like, and instead, like the Secret Service guy who ends up just being like a staffer, like hands me off to two Navajo Nation police officers. Well, they pull me out, and then two Navajo Nation police officers come up, and I immediately turn around because I just got separated from my child, and I have no idea what she witnessed. I have no idea like if she's scared, and like, you know, like if she's trying to follow me. So I turn around and I start trying to look for her, and I start to look back, and that's when the Navajo police officers grab me. And I was like, no, I need to go find my daughter. I need to make sure that she's safe. This man attacked me. You need to be grabbing him. I have no idea who this man is. And they don't do anything. They grab me and they turn me around. And they start dragging me out. One of the officers tries to twist my arm behind my back to put me into an arrest hold. And then like he like strained my shoulder. And I was like, am I under arrest? And they say no. So I was like, you have absolutely no right to be putting me into arrest hold right now. I was like, this is excessive force, and I will file a complaint against you. And then he immediately let my arm go, like let me put it back forward, but they're still holding on to me. And I'm like, I need to see my child. Like, I need to make sure my child is safe. Like, I will leave. Like, you can take me back to my child and I will get her and we will happily leave this place. I was like, I cannot believe you are handling this like this. And they refused. They refused to let me go back to my child. And so they grab me again, and like they're just mad. They're mad that I'm like I'm being, I guess, I don't know, like argumentative because I'm trying to go get my child. And they're like, no, you were given a chance. I'm like, given what chance? They're like, you were told if you were disruptive, you would be taken out. I was like, I was told if I yelled to interrupt these speeches, I'd be taken out. No one can say that I did that. I was not being disruptive. A man attacked me because I held my sash belt up. And they're like, well, what does it say? I was like, that's besides the point, because that wasn't in your definition of what being disruptive was. And I was like, and if that was what you guys were policing for, you need to be more clear about it. And they're like, well, you got to go now. And they're dragging me out. And I'm pushing back because I'm just like, if my daughter is coming behind me, like, I'm like trying to give her time to like catch up to me. Or at least like anyone that's with her. And but I'm trying to like remain calm, and I just keep asking the cops, am I being detained? Am I being arrested? And they keep saying no. And I keep telling them, well, then you have no right to be holding me like this. You have no right to be restraining me. But they hold on me, they drag me out. And then they try to take me to this area where there's like paddy wagons and shit. And I'm like, I was like, no, I do not consent to be going over there. I do not consent to be taken out of eyesight of the crowd. I'm still thinking about my daughter. And then that's when they give me to a police officer who seems to be in charge. And I immediately start telling them, like, what is this about? I'm like, why are you guys doing this? Like, people have been harassing me since I got here. I'm a Janene citizen. I did not break any laws. I did not break any Navajo Nation laws. There's no reason. I was not being disruptive. I was not being violent. There's no reason for you to be treating me this way. And he says, oh, well, these guys have a permit. And he's talking about like the organizers. And I'm just like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, so the permit trumps Navajo Nation laws. So the permit deputizes these non-Navajos to like make decisions on this community event over who's allowed to be there and who's not, who's considered a disruptor or who's not. Because none of the Trump people were ejected. None of the people jeering or interrupting some of the politicians' speeches were ejected. It was literally only people who were showing solidarity with Palestine. And I know that was one of the reasons why they kept targeting me, is because of the way I was dressed. And like, and so I'm in it, I'm engaged in it. He has no answers for me, like nothing that is right, nothing that is lawful for why I was treated that way. And like he keeps telling me the police officers are going to go get my daughter. And I'm like, no, I do not consent to that. You're going to terrify my little girl. You can escort me there and back. That's all you have to do. Like, I don't see why that is so hard or why that's so threatening at this community event. If you really don't want me there, then still allow me my parental right to go get my minor daughter and take her out of there safely. Instead, he tells me, no, that man's going to go get her. He knows you. He knows your family. He's going to make sure she's safe. I'm like, who the hell is he talking about? And he points to this guy that ends up being the guy that originally assaulted me, that originally grabbed my sash belt from me. And then I lost my shit because I'm here as a mother asking this police officer to take me back to get my daughter. And instead he's telling me that the man that originally attacked me is going to be the one that does it. And I cannot, like, that was when I completely lost my cool and I was angry. And then he threatened me with arrests then. And luckily I had a friend nearby me and she was like, what are you trying to arrest her for? And I was like, what the hell are you trying to arrest me for? And he's like, disorderly conduct. I was like, disorderly conduct? You're telling me that there's a crime happening right now. You're facilitating a kidnapping. I do not give you consent to let this stranger that just attacked me to go get my daughter. And he's just like, he doesn't know what to do. And I'm just like, do these guys even know how to uphold Navajo Nation law? Did they even know like what their oath of office is? And I'm just livid. And the only thing that calms me down is that like someone else that knows me comes up and is like, Janene, thank God, like other people knew me there. Otherwise, like this would all happened in a vacuum. This wasn't captured by anything. Like you guys caught some footage, like other people caught footage on their cell phones because they knew me, but I didn't see any of these guys like while this was all happening. But someone else came up to me and was like, I got in touch with Zunaba, and she still has Celeste. Like she said that some people tried to come and get her. And she still has your daughter. She's not going to let anyone take her. And that's when I could finally breathe. And I was just like, just have them keep her. Just have them keep her because I don't want any of these people near her. And I'm like, just have her keep her until the end of the event. Meet me out here when everything like away from these people. And so after that, like it took us a while as a family to process and to just kind of settle our energy. I had to immediately go to like ceremonial space because that was such ugly energy from like the other Dene people that were around there. I heard about what happened with Koi, and that made me even more mad. I heard what happened to Kylie. To know like I knew the other people that were escorted out was just infuriating, that I knew other people that were being harassed and questioned in different ways as they were trying to go in. Like it just all made me so mad that so many Dene citizens were being treated unfairly and violently at an event on our homelands that was meant to like buy our vote to save democracy. Like, how dare they? How dare they facilitate in this conspiracy to violate our civil rights and our rights as Dene people at a public event that was meant to like buy our votes, that was meant to like convince us this was the best ticket to lead the United States because they uphold tribal sovereignty, because they understand the rights of indigenous peoples, and they just like in real time let their staffers facilitate violation after violation of it in our homelands, and separated me from my child the day after Biden gives this apology for like the boarding school abuses that did the same to indigenous families. Like it was egregious. I had to go to the hospital the next day after I rested. I got treated for like a badly sprained wrist and a sprained shoulder that still freaking hurts. So like both my arms are freaking injured, and I'm having to do all this work on the computer and like take care of my kids and like do all of the things. And so like it's every day, it's been a reminder of how violently we were treated unjustly. And so that was my experience at that freaking campaign event.